Equity and inclusion are vital for the City of Greensboro's ability to grow and innovate in such a fast-changing environment. One Greensboro is a monthly show that highlights some of the ways the Office of Equity and Inclusion honors the observances listed on our Heritage Calendar and spotlights a City of Greensboro employee in a segment we call The One. These observances are an integral part of the National Equal Employment Opportunity and Civil Rights Program and encourage us to live as one people, one community, one Greensboro.
This episode, we're touring the Greensboro History Museum. I'm so excited. There are several exhibits here that I've been waiting to come and see, especially the Democracy exhibit that I'm standing beside, the American Democracy, A Great Leap of Faith. We're going to see a lot of different exhibits, but especially a few of them that focus on women or have a hint of how women played a role not only in Greensboro, but throughout our history as far as the United States is concerned. And the one person that can walk us through this is my friend, Miss Carol Hart. Hi, Carol. How are you doing?
Hi, yeah, welcome to the museum. So great to have you here.
Glad to be back. And Carol, you are the director of the Greensboro History Museum, correct?
Yes, I am.
So you're going to direct me throughout this whole thing.
I'm going to show you the highlights.
I love it. I love it. So what should we see first? Because what are some of the exhibits that you have right now? Could you tell us a little about that?
So we have a lot of exhibits here and a lot of new things. So what we're going to see first is a traveling exhibit from the Smithsonian Institution, American Democracy, A Great Leap of Faith. That's here through March 29th. And then within that national story is a North Carolina story that we were encouraged to include our local and state history. So we'll be able to talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And you know, I think I told you before, I'm a political scientist, so you know I love this kind of stuff. So if I just kind of zone out, will you bring me back in with the tour?
I will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So which direction are we going? Because I see democracy all behind us.
So let's go in and start with that very foundation of what could this country be, and that leap of faith being that we're going to trust that given the opportunity, people can govern themselves. So let's start with that.
Okay, let's start with that. Wow, Carol, this room looks totally different than when I was here before. So what's going on? I see the Great Leap. So what's going on?
Yeah, so this is the story of the people of the 1700s and what revolution was like. Often we tend to focus on the men of this time period. That's often what's in the history books. But we've made an effort to say, hey, women were here, they were part of it, often behind the scenes. We brought in the story of women whose husbands fought in the Revolution War who were promised pensions. And we have 3 specific stories of women, including an African-American enslaved woman, and what happened to her after the war.
Well, I have to ask, not to tell too much, but I heard the pension. Did she receive the pension? Because I know times were different back then.
Yeah.
Or do you have to come and see?
You
kind of one of those sneak previews.
You should come and see what happened. She was promised her freedom if her and her husband was promised if he fought in the Revolutionary War. And as a soldier, she should have received a pension. She should have received her freedom. What happens, I don't think will surprise many people, but you can come and we have an actress portraying and you really feel what it must have.
Feel the story.
Yeah.
Wow. So, so we won't spoil it. We'll have people come so they can actually see the exhibit. Okay. So Dolly Madison, and you said she was not necessarily a silent warrior, but her coming out and making sure that things were taken care of as far as the fight was a little different, you said.
It was different, and she was the first lady, often said the first lady, and she really was a very clever woman. And she used parties, social situations to bridge the gap, to bring people who normally wouldn't have attended functions at the White House to come together and talk. And she knew if you can talk over a cocktail or dinner, you're more likely than maybe to make progress and where your differences are, maybe bridge that. And I think that's a lesson for today.
It is a lesson for today. I'm like, why don't we do more of that? So
Yeah.
hopefully we will. Hopefully
Yeah.
we will. So the last piece I think you mentioned was there's kind of a collaborative exhibit with some pictures with historical value for Greensboro.
Yes, in our Voices of a City
Voices.
exhibit, it's
Okay.
almost 10 years old now, we really made an effort to bring forward all the voices, not just the names and pictures of the wealthy and the famous, but people who were behind the scene, and particularly make sure women were represented.
Absolutely.
Of all colors. So in that, our intro gallery, you get to see the faces and hear some of those voices that you'll encounter as you go through 300 and more years of Greensboro history.
Wow. So what programs do you actually offer? Because I know we were talking about the exhibit. So is there a program tied into any of these?
There are a lot of programs, and particularly for Women's History Month, we have over a dozen different programs.
A dozen?
Yes. So definitely check out our website, greensborohistory.org. Again, these are all free. One I will mention is on March 18th, the curator of the Smithsonian exhibit, who's a woman, Barbara Clark Smith, is coming down to talk about putting an exhibit like that together.
Wow.
And because it's Women's History Month, we'll be talking about women. And then on March 21st, we have our Lifted Voices Women's History Stories. So we'll have actresses portraying women throughout time in our gallery space, telling the stories of women. And that's always a very exciting thing to do. We have a number of other programs as well. And also we're always out in the community. And the programs and the educational programs and the programs that we do in the community are just as important as the exhibits themselves.
And it's for all ages, correct?
It's for all ages, and it's free. The other thing I'll say that you'll see that's really important is we also collect artifacts and archives that represent our history.
Right.
So for example, right now we collected some of those pink hats that women wore to the women's protest to Washington and Raleigh. So they're now part of our collection. So in another 100 years, when it's the 200th anniversary of the women getting the right to vote, we'll look back and say women protested even 100 years ago. So we have those in exhibit. And we're looking for more stories and more artifacts. We're always continuing to collect to tell our story.
I'm excited now. I can't wait to see this other story. So
Let's go.
let's go see that. This is so exciting. I see the historical pattern. We start with 1781 and end up pretty much now to 2008 and present. So tell us about, I see a lot of women on this wall. So this is the story of our voices.
This is the story of our voices as a community, and women are a big part of that. So of course there are women's voices here. We don't always know their names or their faces, but we know their impact, and we try to tell that story. This is the introduction to the rest of our city story. For this year, we're focusing on democracy, so we're calling it Visions and Voices of Democracy, because it probably won't surprise you that many of the stories and the efforts and the battles that women had were about democracy and continue to today.
Well, Carol, thank you so very much. This was an informative look. Every time I come, I feel like I'm home, first of all, but I learn something new every time. And it's making me want to go out and get a tab soda if I could right now. That exhibit, but I know I don't think I can. But thank you so very much. And thank you for all the hard work that you do to make sure that Greensboro is preserved and make sure these stories continuously are told, especially this being Women's History Month, that story getting out in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Welcome to this edition of The One. The One is an intimate conversation with City of Greensboro employees that are working to create a culture of oneness in our organization and our city. This conversation will allow you to get to know them and hear their thoughts on our journey to create one Greensboro. Our employee this month is Melinda King, construction engineer for the city of Greensboro. Hello, Melinda. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. Thank you so very much for agreeing to talk with us today. First question, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Melinda.
Okay. I am a civil engineer, and I did not grow up in Greensboro. I grew up in Northern Virginia, went to the University of Pittsburgh for undergraduate, went to NC State for graduate school, and moved down to this area, and I've been with the city since 2002.
Wow, go Wolfpack, right?
Yes,
right,
go
exactly.
Wolfpack.
That's right. What would you say is the most interesting project that you're working on right now for the city of Greensboro?
Well, we have several. The two biggest that we have, well, we have quite a few, but the largest one right now is probably Horsepen Creek road widening.
Okay.
Yes. So everybody's probably very aware of that one. It impacts people on a daily basis.
Yes.
We've got another large sewer project that is going on out in the middle of nowhere that many people don't know about, but that is a very large project as well, and that's the Youngs Mill sewer outfall.
Oh, I know exactly what
Yes, so that is going to get rid of the need for the Youngs Mill lift station,
Okay.
and everything will be served by gravity to the new lift station that was built out Stewart Mill.
Okay, and what's involved in being a construction engineer? You mentioned that a few minutes ago.
So my primary purpose is to oversee any roadway, stormwater, water, sewer construction throughout the city of Greensboro that's inspected. So I am over the 20 inspectors that we have for the city of Greensboro. We have about 10 on the roadway side and 10 on the water and sewer side. And so just help assist the inspectors throughout construction, work with the contractors, work with the public as issues arise, things of that nature.
Wow, that's a lot. And you have how many projects going on right now, would you say, approximately?
It depends.
It depends.
Right now we have probably about 10, but that doesn't include the private. So we're also in charge of inspecting any private jobs that will eventually come to the city.
Okay. With all that being said, who inspires you? It had to be an inspiration, because this seems like a non-typical, we're in Women's History Month this month. So who inspired you to be you and to also go into engineering and this part of engineering?
My dad. My dad's an
Oh,
engineer,
okay.
and his brothers are all engineers, so it was kind of just a family thing, and it was always something that I found very interesting, and we actually now kind of get to work together. He works for a company here in Greensboro, moved down when my son was born, and so it's been fun to be able to work together through our career as well.
Nice.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. How is celebrating Women's History Month? As I said, we're in Women's History Month. How is that one step towards, in your opinion, creating a one Greensboro or oneness?
Well, for me, I'm the first female in this position.
Wow.
And so, and I hope to eventually kind of dissuade that mentality of women in construction in general. We've hired our first female inspector. So there have been a lot of changes probably over the years since I've been there that have been very different from what things were. But women are getting into construction. Women are getting more so even into the inspection side of things, and so I hope to kind of further that cause into the field, and not necessarily even as an engineer, but just as someone out in the field. You typically see construction workers are men, and and skilled labor like that are typically men, and I think there's a very large opportunity for women out there to get into that field. It's a field that is very, very minimally staffed right now.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of construction projects going on. It's very difficult to find help, and honestly, some of the best backhoe operators and workers I've known on jobs are women, and so I think that's something that I would like to bring to the forefront.
Good for you. That's so, and I know the push with STEM and everything, definitely, I would love to see, and us here at the City of Greensboro and in Greensboro as well, hire more women engineers. I just think it's so important because they can, just do it like you do. Because I see you all the time on the side of the road talking about those projects. So you're doing some engineering stuff. So that's good. So next question is, how can we create a true one Greensboro culture, kind of like we said for the City of Greensboro, us us, you just answered that, but all in all for Greensboro, as far as the city of Greensboro, how can we create that oneness?
I think it's just trying to communicate and incorporate people into what we do. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about how construction projects work, how the city in general goes about there. There's a lot of planning, a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings that take place, and then even during construction, we really do try and look out for the citizens and work together. There's so much interdepartmental involvement during construction, especially, we've got GDOT, we've got water resources, we've got field operations, and so it's creating those relationships within the different departments, and then also just really trying to communicate that to the community as a whole and try to get them to, construction's a difficult thing to understand. It's very difficult to go through.
I couldn't imagine.
As a citizen, or as a community member, it's difficult because it seems like it always is taking so long, but there's so many impacts that you don't think about. And so I think providing that kind of information to the public, but then also creating those relationships within the departments, I think is something that is really going to make us go further.
Wow, that is so awesome. Well, Melinda, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, to let our viewers know a little bit more about you. And everyone that knows me knows I love first. So I love that you are the first in this position. So congratulations, and thank you for all the hard work that you do for the city of Greensboro. We all appreciate you and everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Today we're celebrating Women's History Month, and what better place to celebrate than the Greensboro History Museum. I am so thrilled to be in the presence of two lovely ladies of the American Association of University Women, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Hello ladies, how are you?
How you doing?
Hello, hello. If you both can introduce yourselves and just tell the viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
I am Lena Merle Chapman. I am the president of the American Association of University Women of the Greensboro affiliate.
Hello, Maria. It's such a pleasure to be here with you and to help celebrate Women's History Month.
Yes.
How exciting.
It is a very prominent month in my heart because of this year. I'm just so excited. Yes. And I know we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, yes. So, Laura,
and
tell us a little
Laura
bit.
Too,
yes.
And I am the incoming president. Lena's going to turn the reins over to me. We're very excited about that. But then she's going to stay on as president-elect and help me out for another year. So that's a very exciting transition. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. And I know all about the organization, of course, but could you tell everyone what is AAUW? And is there, I know you mentioned the local affiliate. Tell us about the state, the national. Just tell us, what is the organization?
Okay, AAUW, American Association of University Women, national, state, and local. So we are the local organization that we follow the mission of the national and the state. And then we have our own agenda, we have our own mission where we empower women and girls so that they will be the best that they can be. But our organization, the national one, began in 1881, and a local chapter here started in Greensboro in 1912 with the first president, Miss Mary Petty, and actually on the campus of UNCG.
What better place to start it than the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, because it was women's college at that particular time.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, what type of programs do you all offer as far as AAUW Greensboro is concerned?
Well, we offer quite a few programs, and the programs that we offer, we stay within our mission. You know, when you're empowering women and girls, there's so many things you can do.
Absolutely.
So some of the things that we do to enhance the community and reach out beyond our walls to reach to the women and girls, we have a program called the Community College and Universities. We call it our CU Partners, and that's on the college campus where we reach out to those ladies and offer different types of things that they can enhance their education. One we offer where we send those girls, those who apply to Maryland to a leadership conference, a national conference there. We also have books, we say books for girls. Where we adopt a school and our members come together and we provide books for the elementary school, whether we do it funds, whether we actually give the books, but we also work with them until that project is done and those students are experiencing the enjoy of reading through there. We have our STEM program where we reach out to so many girls and their parents as well. So we have other programs that we do where we, as a local organization, find out what are those needs. So sometimes a program will come to us that we didn't even plan, but it fits within our mission as well. And our theme this year is celebrating empowered women, past, present, and future. And that has given us an opportunity to recognize our own members, present, past members, and also the future.
The future as well. Because I'm sure these young women, these girls that you're working with, the goal is hopefully one day, especially if they're in Greensboro, they will come and join the chapter as well too from working with you. So wonderful, wonderful. Well, I know shifting gears a little bit, I know you all worked with the city of Greensboro actually a few years ago and did a program for our supervisors on pay equity. I think a lot of people don't understand there is a gap as far as pay is concerned. And one thing that we want to do as far as diversity and inclusion is make sure we create an awareness. So with the gender pay equity study, Laura, I think you were very integral in bringing that program. I think I've asked you several times to bring that program different places, but tell us about it if you don't mind.
Well, gender pay equity is very important to the American Association of University Women. We have an entire platform of advocacy and outreach and public policy initiatives that we would like to see enacted at the state and federal level. And so we're always very active in that area. We are also a research organization at our national level, and so we have collected a lot of data that allows us to analyze exactly what the issues are that has created a situation where right now today women on average make only about 82% of a white man's salary. And women of color and Latino women also make considerably less and are disproportionately affected. So we have several ways of addressing this, not just with public policy initiatives that we would like to see enacted on an advocacy level, but also on programs where women come together and learn salary negotiation skills, and employers come together, as you've helped us with some of those conversations, and we talk about what can employers do to level that playing field, to make the interview process and the job posting process and the workplace more equitable.
There's more to come. Yes. Trust me, there's more to come. So with all that being said, what is your strategic vision for AAUW Greensboro?
Well, we enhance our vision through the programs that we offer. Absolutely. So when we assess and we decide what that need is, and then we take the steps to move forward in that vision. But our main vision, again, is to make sure that women and girls are empowered to be the best that they can be. And how do we do that? And as we talked earlier, and some of the things that I think that we do well is that we start so young, at the young age girls, and we talk about our STEM program, and I asked Laura to fill in, just how young do we go to build that level?
What is the youngest that someone can participate?
We offer year-round STEM programs for 5th through 8th graders, and then we've just come off of a high school conference for 2nd semester 8th graders through 12th graders. It was a fabulous conference at the Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. Again, it's about conversations. It's about bringing young women together to identify the issues that they care about and find ways to navigate that.
And that middle school age sounds like it's a crucial time to get that.
It is, and yet we're also awareness. Finding that the 5th grade is very important.
Rolling
going into that. And the parent conversation is so important. Parents they care deeply, mothers and fathers. And so I think as we move our strategic vision forward, it's going to be about our service and our conversations with our members and with the community.
And with the community as well. And I tell you, I'm on pins and needles. I have 2 more years for Madison to come to these programs. She will be there. I promise. She will be there.
We're going to make sure.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So how can the community become more involved and partner with you even more, especially with these awareness programs and the online programs that you have? I see there's a huge opportunity for partnerships. How can we do better?
Exactly. But one of the things that I advise other communities to work on and look at, we've really enhanced our communication. We have a wonderful website with just about any information you want to see with the programs that we offer. It doesn't matter if that program is for young girls or just ladies of all ages. You know, they can go to the website. We have Facebook. We use social media to also enhance and get that word out. But most of the time, it comes from those who are involved, the other participants who come, the girls, the women, the parents. We lots of traction, but we reach out to other organizations as well. We support them, and when we are supporting them, they support us.
They support you.
Yes.
That's right. Well, ladies, thank you so very much. This has been very engaging as far as the conversation, but just an awareness for, I think, people in our viewing area, because people don't know how much you do. And I thank you personally for everything you're doing in the advancement of women and especially girls, because I have one. So thank you for all that you're doing. We appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for coming.